Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Books and Betches. Not to be confused with Books and...
What episode are we doing?
Serpent.
No?
Bargainer. Let's start over.
No, leave it. It's fine. It's fine. It's chaos today.
Go.
Bargainer Riches!
I'm Kristen, and with me I have...
Erica.
Erica and Maria, because you probably couldn't hear
eating
that.
a donut.
Erica!
Okay.
I'm a siren.
This is a book... This is a book podcast. We swear, we spoil, and we talk about sex.
It's like when you did the dragon, you're like, caw.
We are going to spoil...
Hello.
We're going to spoil this book.
Low key, worst singer ever.
But it's book 3.
Actually, high key.
I'm just talking to myself. I'm talking to myself. It's fine. If you're listening, I'm sorry.
Oh, this is good. This is already good. I feel it.
So sorry.
I had my little donut.
I had part of my donut. I'm about to have a little bit of my water, and I'm set.
I'll just apologize to the viewers the whole time.
That's what we have to do. We have to apologize because honestly, we're a mess.
This is a book podcast. I said that already.
Is it?
I said that. We're going to spoil this entire series now because this is book 3 of 3.
And swear too.
There's more than 3.
There's a
novella.
companion novel.
I hate
Which you
companion
started
novels.
by accident.
Yeah.
How did you not fucking notice?
Because it's labeled book 3.
It's labeled book 3 on Goodreads.
No, I know, but like when you're
And on
reading
Kindle. It's labeled book 3 on
it's like
Kindle.
1,000 years in the beginning.
She thought it was a prequel.
Well,
Or she thought it was a little
like,
prologue.
She doesn't even know what a
Prologue.
prequel is.
I thought it was a prologue.
She doesn't even know what a prologue is. She doesn't know what an epilogue is.
Fucking God. Listen, I didn't know that was how the story started, and it kept
But
going.
what's funny, so I don't know where we were, you and I, Kristen, but you told me, you were like, I started Bargainer, and it's weird because it's like someone else is in it. And I go, really? And I hadn't started it yet. So I was like, wait, I feel like that doesn't make sense considering where we are. But okay, maybe she got started before I did, so it's no big deal. And then I kept like looking at the titles, and something in the back of my head was like, I think Kristen's wrong. But I don't want to like call it out. I'm like, but I feel like she's wrong. So I did a whole thing. I gaslit myself, looked at it, and I was like, no, she's definitely wrong.
I didn't
So
understand why it was labeled book 3. And then I couldn't find the actual third
Dark
one.
Harmony, yeah.
Because it wouldn't pop up when I typed in book 3. It just would
It
not
comes up as
allowing
book
it.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wrongly labeled on Goodreads / Audible. So if you're like, no, Audible had it correct.
Yeah.
Goodreads had it wrong. So if you're looking to, I mean, again, why are you on the 3rd episode?
Yeah.
Had not read it. But if you haven't read it, Dark Harmony is the 3rd Bargainer book by Laura Thalassa.
And also the book that we're talking about today. So Dark Harmony by Laura Thalassa.
what I just said.
Yes, that is the 3rd book in the Bargainer series.
Let's just keep repeating the same information.
The 3rd book is Dark Harmony, and that's
So guys,
the
the
3rd
third
book in the
today-
Bargainer series.
So I really
It's called Dark Harmony.
the series, and I hated this book.
You didn't hate this book.
I didn't hate it. I didn't like this one. I didn't like this one, Erica.
It had too much sex.
No,
It had too much sex.
Truly, that part didn't bother me. I wanted
You
it
said
to go.
it did.
Well, I mean, I didn't think we needed that much.
Cool with like the shadows and the fucking like.
I didn't want it to. I needed something bigger. I needed a bigger ending.
Long story short, I also feel like the stakes weren't as high at the end.
The stakes weren't high.
dies basically.
But yes, that was a big moment, but that's not the end. The end is how the Thief of Soul dies. And I feel like the way he went
Did I mention
felt
we were
too
spoiling this
easy.
book? Yeah, I mentioned.
Yeah, you mentioned spoiling.
Okay,
because
cool.
he like
We got to do the
whatever
60-second.
her.
We can't
What is
jump
that word?
into the story
What?
like this.
underestimated.
Yeah, but he's a god.
I just
The
needed
god of death.
I needed a little bit more.
What'd you want?
I wanted an
What'd
epic
you
battle.
want?
I wanted
him
an
to
epic.
blow up.
I wanted an epic battle. I wanted more players. I didn't want this to just. Let's
you know
get
what?
into the story.
Temper was underutilized.
Let's
Temper could have done
do-
some
Temper
shit
was
in there.
underutilized.
Yes.
I
Can we
will agree
do
with
a
that.
60-second?
Yeah, of course.
And then we can get into the
Are
story.
you going to do it?
Before we do that, anything we want to say at the top here, because y'all are all over the place, so let's get it out right now. You had a donut. We're
I
excited
had a
about
piece of a donut.
We're excited about the donut. Xena's licking my leg. I don't know why.
I'm trying to see where my notes are.
Okay.
Do you think Des is one of the better like book boyfriend guys?
Yes. One of the better. Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
Des
Des
is
was
great.
like,
Right?
yeah.
Like I feel like he's so undervalued. And
What do you mean? Why?
I think. Ooh,
Why do you feel that way?
sorry.
because I feel like people. There's not a lot of fan art of him, and two, like I feel like people.
It
don't
all
talk
comes down to
about
the fan art. I feel
what
like
she
everything comes down to the fan art
For
with
me.
you.
So
Why?
I'm like,
'Cause
where's
that's
the
what's
fan art?
Maybe you need to
that
start-
shows. Here's my conjecture on that statement. I think it's because we live in the ACOTAR world where everyone loves ACOTAR. Everything's about ACOTAR. Everything is like any kind of Fae book you
Yeah,
see
it's-
now will constantly be referred back to ACOTAR and how it relates to ACOTAR, right? So I think Des, unfortunately, is always put up against Reese. And that's why no one talks about Des.
But I think Des is more morally gray.
No, I agree with you. But what I'm
And
saying is,
more-
in the reader world we are in now, Sarah
such
J.
a
Maas
weird
has a
thing to do.
chokehold.
That's
It's
weird.
crazy.
That's weird.
I want to say
Am I making sense?
I
You
do wanna
are.
say
You are.
this.
It's
I want
just
to
a
say
weird
this.
thing.
Like creating content for Bookstagram or Book Talk is so frustrating sometimes because it feels like all of my like creative ideas never end up going anywhere, but I post about ACOTAR and I get 20,000 views.
That's
what I'm
all
saying.
anybody
And
wants
it's
to
just like
watch.
it's so frustrating because it's like I want to do other things, but
Do other
it
things
doesn't
then.
get.
Don't
the
feed into the
views.
ACOTAR. That's why all ACOTAR gets views because everyone's feeding into it.
It's so fucking annoying.
But also do it for yourself, girl. Don't worry about those
Yeah,
views.
do it for yourself because we're not
I'm
doing
not.
it.
I mean, I'm doing it for our streaming.
But we'll watch it. Those are all the
Podcast
views
views.
you need. All right, let's do the 60-second, and then we can get
Are you
into the
doing it?
story here. Do you want me to do it? I could do it.
Yay.
If you're new to this podcast, we do this thing where we attempt to explain an entire plot summary of a book in 60 seconds or less. I'm so sorry, but this week I'm doing it. And it's for the third book in the Bargainer series. If you've been following along, hopefully you know
We've
where
said
we're
it
at.
5 times.
So I don't have to repeat anything in the past books. I could just
Yeah,
jump
no,
in.
start where we start.
All right.
Ready? 3, 2.
The Thief of Souls and Dez's dad are on the loose, and they're bad guys. So Callie,
Callie. Like a
Callie,
cat.
Callie,
Alley
and
cat.
Calypso, Callie
Calypso.
and Des need to find them and end them because they're bad people.
Yes.
Throughout the book, we keep going into this dream world where we meet up with the Thief of Souls, and Callie is trying to find out who he is, where he is, so that they can find him and kill him. A lot of shit happens in this book that I can't get into every single
30
detail.
seconds.
But essentially, the dad is the one who awoken the Thief of Souls, and he in turn awokened him, so they're bonded. So you have to kill one to kill the other. Kaylee becomes like the most badass siren basically of all time. Des dies for a moment. She ends
15
up finding out that he's the goddess. The Thief of Souls is actually a god, the god of death. So she has to kill the god of death. She finds out where his kingdom is. She has to get there by dying, but no, there's another way. She gets in there. She
5.
finds him. She lures him into the water. She drowns him.
3,
Des comes back to life.
2,
They all live
1.
happily ever after.
I bet you just peak the mic
my-
so bad, and
I don't care.
I'm already
I'm so proud.
looking at myself editing. I am looking at myself at future me.
Yankees win.
Future
I'm so
Yankees win.
I'm so proud. I'm really proud of myself.
Start spreading the news.
Da-dum, da-dum.
I'm leaving today.
I wanna be a part of it. New York.
New York.
If you didn't
Perfect,
know
guys.
that at the end of every Yankee game, if they win, they play New York, New York.
Hey, Gabagool, listen here. I feel really good about that.
So that was what that was.
I feel really good about that.
I am not. So I am a fun fact. I am a Yankee season ticket holder. I am not a Yankee fan. My husband is, and I am actually a Red Sox fan. So that breaks my soul down.
all
Hold
this
the
time.
fuck up. You have season tickets
Yeah,
and you haven't.
you've gone with me.
Oh yeah, one time, but like,
because it was the Cubs.
oh my god, do you still go?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
I could take a train right into the stadium.
I don't
Yeah.
go to sporting events.
Sports ball. Okay, Kaylee
Go
and
team.
Des.
Callie.
How do you
Callie.
not know we have season tickets?
I forgot.
It's
Callie,
the same as your cat.
Callie and Des. So, how do we
Dahlia.
feel about the Thief of Souls?
Love him.
He's such a good villain.
Such a good
So he
villain.
Such a
doesn't
good
have a
villain.
body. He's a being, essentially.
He does
right?
have his own body, but it's in the
he's-
dream world.
He's such a good villain, and my thing, and I love Thanos, right? Like that's my peak villain. Thief of Souls is just a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's not even Thanos, but he's still such a good villain.
He's a god.
but he just sucks.
But
Like,
he's the
just
god
the
of
worst.
death, so it makes sense to me. I thought that was a cool twist where, like, okay, he's the god of death, which means, like, that's the worst that I think you could be,
I
right?
think so.
That's the worst thing you could be, because if you control death, like, there's nothing
But like,
past
it's
that.
interesting because a lot of fantasies have so many plays on death.
Yeah.
Like I've read ones where like death is not a bad dude. He's just a guy that like, or like a ferryman type person who like brings the souls across. You know what I mean?
Right.
You are the gatekeeper of the soul. Like very like Greek mythology-esque type shit, right?
Yeah.
So I've seen death portrayed quite a few different ways, but I think death being evil, peak. Like, I think that is fucking cool.
I love that. I think that's like the best vibe you can have. But to me, it's like, it stresses me out so much because I'm like, okay, if death is not the end, because like death is like infinite, it sends me into such a fucking tizzy where I'm like, so then that means that there's a world out like past death that you have to just fucking
He
be
literally
miserable
says it.
in.
He goes, all this time you've wanted to know who I am, Enchantress. I'm Eurybios. I don't know how to say his name, but it's spelled Euribios. He breathes the name with a shiver of magic. It skitters across my skin. I am what came before.
So, like, some of her writing is
so
on the fucking mark.
I caught more of those like funny moments in this book.
A lot of funny, sarcastic, which I love. I think that was the one thing that I
think
said.
she's a great writer.
That was the one thing that I said to you though. Like, this main character actually has personality. It's like I don't know what it is about female main characters in these types of stories where it's like the Bella trope. They all have like no personality so that you can relate to them and you could picture yourself in their body, whatever. Yeah. She had personality. She was a sarcastic son of a bitch. She had an evil side, the siren side of her, which was very badass.
Oh, I loved that like juxtaposed sometimes where it would come out and it would just be
I
like
love
you
her
could
siren.
tell that it was a different
and
personality.
What's great about that too is because that's been used in other books and done poorly.
It's
like,
hard to do well.
For the bad example is 50 Shades of Grey, where she's like, my inner goddess was like loving this. I hate that.
Yeah.
But her siren was straight. You know her siren is like a badass
and
bitch.
The best part is when he knows her sirens out.
Oh yeah.
That was
like,
and it
so
got
she
hot.
glows. So.
And her siren got like 50 times more aggressive after she drank the wine.
And
became like
wine.
immortal. Like, because she's now basically she's not part fairy, but she has fairy powers. She has Dez's powers. She has like a lot more powers than she did when this whole thing first started. So the whole like siren thing was just way better in this book.
I love her siren just for how freaking vicious she is.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna take his entrails. I'm just
also,
like, fucking.
I have to say, Dez and Callie give me the strongest Tish and what's his name vibes from Family Guy. Not Family Guy, from Addams Family. Morticia and what the fuck is his name? Gomez.
I don't watch.
So I was like reading it and I was like, they were both really badass and they were like killing people together and I was like, oh my god, this is so much like
I wouldn't
Addams
have thought
Family.
that, but okay.
It gave me that vibe so hard, like dark,
all right.
like because in this book they're like pretty vicious, like they're actually killing people and like together and they're working together. Like there's that one scene where they froze a bunch of people and he's like manipulating them and like putting them into like reindeer and stuff.
Yes,
and, like,
Callie. So
like
Callie realizes that she now can control fairies with her siren magic. She couldn't before. She couldn't.
But after the
lilac wine, she's able to do it. So at one point when she's questioning the people who are in the banished land where they went to go find out information about Dez's dad, she freezes them all. She's like, none of you can move unless I tell you. And Dez is just like, go ahead, honey. And he's just literally just setting them all up in little poses.
Like, he's
so
funny.
cute.
His best life.
They're
so
good
cute.
together.
And he's just like, I picture him doing this all with like badass biker boots.
Yes.
And,
a Metallica shirt.
t-shirt. And like,
yes.
I don't know. It's just, there's something about it that is so delicious that
They're cute.
I think.
Oh, I have it highlighted. So how does one co-bind themselves to another? She's asking, right? I glance over at Dez, who's beginning to pose frozen fairies like they're a Christmas reindeer.
Yeah.
Each position a little bit more compromised than the last.
I love
So he's
that.
probably putting them like humping each other.
Yes.
Just like, oh, he's so freaking funny.
I think this book and this like series missed on a couple fronts.
Okay.
And I think one of them was temper. I think temper
Yeah.
Temper
is
was
such
so
a
underutilized.
Yeah.
Temper is so underutilized. Temper was such a fantastic character.
Yeah.
And you didn't get enough of her. You
So,
wanted more of her.
One of the biggest criticisms I saw on like Goodreads and stuff was like she was the typical like black character that a lot of these authors would write, and it was like it was very.
I didn't think Temper was black. Was Temper black?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe she's black.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was black.
Oh. The way she was written, I think, yes, she was very underutilized. She was just kind of there to like be the aggressive one, right? Like I felt like there was so much more we could have gotten out of Temper.
I just think her power source was really interesting. We could have dived more into that.
Yeah.
Her relationship with what's his face,
Malachi.
Malachi, like could have gone deeper
Maybe that'll
into
be
that.
its own book one day.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is because
She's done.
But the series has been around for a while, and I really, to me, like that was the really big swing and a miss on Laura's part for this book. The other thing that I think was also underutilized and could have been explored more was the islands.
Yeah.
The islands were so fucking cool, and
my biggest like praise of this book and even this last book was how fucking awesome the world is, and the way
cool.
they're able to go into
And
these other
more.
places, and there's already a whole story. So this is where it falls short of some of the fantasy romance books that we read, or even like the YA, where we go to a new place and you're like, wow, this place is really cool, but they don't build it out where it's like this place has been here for thousands of years and there's like inner workings of it. But when we go to like the pit in this book, or we go to like the desert, like fucking land, wherever they went, like I was like, damn, there are people here that have been through shit that I want to know their story now. And like stuff like that is
that's called layers.
It's so layered, and that's the best part I think about this
I think
book.
she is very good at like creating because this world is
The
super
world
cool.
is so cool.
I think this world is so fucking cool. Her characters are great. Like this hits the mark on so many things for me.
But that's what I was interested in. The story of the Thief and Souls and stuff like that. Their relationship was great. The world was amazing. Now, I did not have a problem with it. I don't mind when sex is in books. What I do mind is when it toes the line of like, do we need it to be this fucking descriptive to take away from the story of whatever, and does it have to be happening right now? And Maria, I know you're gonna agree with me that there was times where sex did not need to be
at all
put into this story. Like we could have cut out 200 pages of this book, whether not even
this
just from the
is why
sex.
I feel like book 2 and book 3 could have just been a long combined book.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like a lot of this could have been cut out, and like even the part where they're in the desert, and then like I'm like, okay, fine, they can fuck in the desert, whatever. And then he's like, and then he puts a finger in my butt. I'm like, okay, now I'm reading a different book. Like I just didn't need it. Also, now all I could think about is the fact that he can't wash his hands. And he's in the desert and he's got her fucking butt juice on her fingers and he's doing all this stuff. So like it just took me so far out of the book. Like that brought it down a whole star for me.
I got bored with the sex scenes over and over again.
Yeah.
Because at this point I'm just like, you are literally trying to find the god of death. Like I think priorities are high over on that front.
I think the reason that they did so much sex was to like build up to Dez's.
They didn't need to do that. They didn't.
Like
need to
I
do
think
that.
they were like I think that was the point of it.
Didn't
was like
need to
that.
happen.
It was like they.
No.
I think it was showing all
book
of this
2,
like super
Which I get.
intense
Which I
like
get.
romantic lust, and they were so into each other.
But we didn't have as much as that on book 2.
But that's why
what I'm
she's
saying.
trying
I
to
think she's
cram it
making
into
it
book
up.
3.
I think it was
That's the vibes I got too.
it was not well balanced enough, and I think either she took it like people saying like there wasn't enough sex in book 2,
100%.
and she ended up putting more in book 3, or she like felt like she really needed to like push it because Des was gone for half the book.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't like placed.
He was gone for like maybe a couple chapters. It wasn't half the book.
Well, they weren't like fucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the thing the other one was like when she's so exhausted that she can't do anything, and he's like literally about to make her stay where she is because she's so tired, and she's like, no, I have to be a queen right now. So they fly to try to find his dad, and during their flight where she's depleted of magic, she's literally like so tired she's about to die, the dad shows up and strangles her in midair. They have a whole epic battle, and they get back, and he's like, I need to fuck right now. And like throws her to the bed and starts fucking her. Like that was like so unnecessary. I was literally like sitting there like, why are we doing this? Like give me a reader a break. Like I need a chapter break. Like I don't need this sex scene right now.
I think it could have been if she wanted to show off the romance of it, like being like he was so scared that he was going to lose her kind of thing.
Yeah.
It could have been a nice like just calm
cuter way
moment.
I think that was the reason why that's my take on it.
Yeah.
And I think to some degree it did build up Dez's departure. a little bit, because then
Yeah.
like
That
I
shit
think
hit me
you
hard.
felt, oh my God, when she was swimming in the pool that he made for her, and she's like
I
realizing
cried,
that
dude.
he like
I
made,
literally
was like,
cried.
that fucking tears me the fuck up.
I didn't.
I do. I cry a lot during books. And I sent you guys that note the other day when she's like, Des has died, or she thinks he's dead. We all know they never really die. So she's like swimming in the pool that he literally built her in this room, and she's so torn up. And I had put a note where I was like, being in love and being married, this hits a lot harder. And Erica, I think maybe you would agree, where you're just like, kind of put yourself in that moment for like that headspace for a second, and it fucking kills me. Like I was literally like, my heart was hurting, thinking like, what would I ever do? Like I would die, dude. I would fucking die. So seeing that whole thing play out, plus I'm on my period, like that fucked me up pretty good.
So this was something that like Akatar and I think it was Silver Flames, everyone was pissed about, that Feyre and this is spoiler for
Good job.
Akasoff.
For Silver
Good
Flames.
Silver Flames.
Job. I'm proud of you.
But I honestly think it was at the end of book 3. But anyways, Feyre and Rhys like they like make a vow that they will,
It was in the novella, I think.
Okay.
Which I didn't read.
So one of them if one of them dies, the other one dies. Like their lives are bound together.
Yep.
And that was something that people like fucking hated, because she ends up like almost dying, and then Rhys almost dies because she doesn't want to, whatever. But I was like, I wouldn't want to fucking live a million years without my partner.
Yep.
So
I think that
totally
if anything,
fucking get that. That
makes the
checks
most
out. That
sense.
checks out for me.
Yeah, it checks out for me too. 100%.
It's your mate. You only
Yeah.
get one mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you want to live your life without your mate?
I agree, dude.
I'd rather take my chances in the afterlife.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That
So
they're-
to me, it makes the most sense. I don't know. That whole scene I thought was written really well. She was shattered. I like that she ordered like Temper away with her siren thing. It was just like, I just want to be alone right now, because I'd probably do the same thing. But yeah, so this all leads to the end that pissed me off. And I'm sorry.
I loved it.
Why?
Because I love that she is the one that kills him.
I love that.
And
That's
that she
had to.
tricks him.
So the other twist we have to say is that Des ends up making a deal with the Thief of Souls
I love that too.
to sort of give himself up to the Thief of Souls, and that way, you know, Callie has to do it on her own.
I think the deal was Callie and I have to live.
But I'll come with you.
Kill us, but
Yeah.
I'll be your slave.
Yeah. Well, I'll be your prisoner.
Yeah.
And he basically is like, puts all of his trust into her that she'll figure a way out of it.
Mm-hmm. Which she did.
No, I
She
thought
does.
that was great.
And I was like, I love the confidence. I love that he like trusts her like that.
why did it? It's just like some of it didn't make sense. Where so she could use her powers on the sleeping fucking soldiers, right? Sometimes there was like a ward up, but usually she could use her powers on them. That's how she got them to stop. She ended up using her powers on the dad to find out where the Thief of Souls was. She could have done that chapters earlier with one of the sleeping soldiers and been like, where is he? And then she could have found it that way. Like the way the whole thing played out didn't quite make sense with the powers that she had. Like, I think her powers were way too strong. They needed
what
more
ended up
limits.
happening.
They need
The
more
timeline is skewed because I feel
It
like
is.
we didn't need book 2 and 3 to be separated.
Yeah, I don't know. Something fell off for me. So in the end, when she finds out where the god lives, which is in the kingdom of death, and the only way to get there is if you die. So her whole thing is
not
like,
if you die, you have to
no,
die.
she doesn't know. So that's what
But the
everybody
way
thinks.
you go into the way she went in is through the Island of Nightmares.
Yes.
There's this big ass pit, and you go down this pit all the
Pit
way
was
to the
cool.
bottom, and it's sort of like a portal into.
But the point was
thing.
like her finding out that she could get there without dying. She could have figured that out a long time
The
ago.
pit gave me Alice in Wonderland vibes.
The pit was cool. The pit was very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
that she just left Temper at the top and was like, peace, deuces. Like, Temper, it would have been cool
So
if
she
was
had
involved.
to do it on her own.
Fine. So she gets down there and Des is dying or almost dead. And she finally meets the Thief of Souls. How the fuck did you picture this guy?
He gets described.
Yeah, how? I didn't understand. I think I might have skimmed
Clean
that.
cut. I imagine him in a suit always.
Do you? I
Yeah.
like that.
I imagine him in a suit. It doesn't make sense for the fairy world.
No, I like
but
that,
in a suit-like outfit.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be something like super fairy-like, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Suave, like gelled back, dark hair, and
A gabagool.
Not a gabagool, but
A dawn.
Okay, so
yeah, like that in a
yeah.
way. Sleazy.
I can picture exactly what you're saying. I
But I
pictured
like
him to
him.
not like have a face for some reason. I was going full metal, like what's the guy, that creepy dude?
Slenderman?
Slender. I can't believe you knew.
Slenderman?
I cannot believe you knew what I was gonna say.
I'm telling you, we're linked.
I was literally gonna be like the one that Garrett's fucking terrified of.
Garrett's terrified of Slenderman?
Dude, so scared of
Oh,
Slenderman.
we have
It's
to scare
hilarious.
him.
But
Garrett,
but like
we're
for
gonna
you
scare
to
you.
know what I was talking
Should I
about.
text
No
a picture of
face.
Slenderman?
Do it.
Do
Do
it.
it. Do it. No, see, I was picturing like I was going full metal, like I said, full. I was skipped the description of him because I didn't want one, and I was like, I was like, no, I want my own. Like, he's got to be a creature, kind of like the
love him.
bog. But I was like, this is great. I love him being a fucking weirdo.
I didn't do enough
Like
highlights,
that?
I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like in the shadows too.
Ugh.
So she ends up so he takes off of the.
So
ward.
he wants to see her do her little thing,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
he's like, I want to see how it feels. Like, you can't beat me, Callie, but
Yeah.
I'll indulge you. I'll let you be able to control me with your siren powers, but you won't be able to kill me because I'm too powerful for you.
Yeah.
And
I like love his arrogance.
yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
He's a god. He should have
Um,
seen this coming.
That's the way I guess gods die, is just by arrogance. And she's like, all right, sure. And so she brings on that full siren power, and her siren's like, yo, let's destroy him. I love her siren.
Yeah.
And she's just like, come in here, come in this pool. So it's an ocean within this hellscape or whatever.
Yeah, that was
And
wild.
it's you haven't seen Hercules, but you've seen Hercules. You know, in the end of Hercules, when he's trying to save Meg's soul is in the
pool,
sea.
yeah.
It's a pool. It's all the souls just like swimming in it. That's why
I was
I
picturing Harry Potter.
So the
Similar.
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Like
yeah,
in
the lake.
before when Dumbledore is like
Which one? Give me a name.
Six.
Half-Blood Prince?
6. At the end of 6, before spoiler, Dumbledore dies.
That one I don't think was
I don't
needed.
remember there's a pool there.
No, they go to that in the cave thing.
Yeah, the lake.
With the
Yeah.
big,
yeah. That's what
a
I was.
good one too.
That's what I was
Yeah.
picturing.
Okay, got it.
That all
Well,
of
because
that, all of
because he
that.
mentioned souls, because there were souls grabbing at her, I thought of Hercules first.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the souls that are in there that he's kept prisoner are like pulling at
Again,
her and
very
trying
cool.
to drown
This is all
her.
very cool.
Yeah, no one said it's not. Just the way he dies is too easy.
Yeah, he literally she goes, okay, come into the water now. He goes into the water and he drowns. Come on.
Yeah, she's like, come in here and drown.
Erica, come on.
Not every ending needs like this epic battle.
I did. For this one, I
For
did.
the adventure
I
lover,
needed
yeah.
for them to even they mention the Avengers in this book. For
They
them
do.
to say the word Avengers
And they
relating
mentioned
to
Harry Potter again.
I know. That's
I already
but that's my next highlight. It says I highlighted her talking about Harry Potter and wrote Maria must hate this.
I did. I
Um,
highlighted it as well.
No, but like for them to mention the Avengers, like it's supposed to feel like some sort of moment where at least Temper or Malachi,
I would have liked Temper to be involved.
somebody somehow, and
Maybe
it was so quick too.
Maybe if she like held him there and Temper like blasted some shit
Something.
at her.
Yeah,
I needed
because I feel
something.
we spent a lot of time with her and him just talking back and forth.
Yeah.
That when his death came, it came so fast.
You know what would have been sick if the shadows came in. If something
did.
happened with the shadows
did.
at the
They
end.
did.
No, they didn't like take him away or anything.
No, but they
didn't-
betrayed him though. They let death
They
come
betrayed
out.
him.
Yeah. But it would have been sick if they did just a little bit more.
Something
Like I
extra?
needed. I just.
I would have
needed
loved if
something.
they talked to Callie.
Yeah.
I loved the shadows betraying the thief.
Oh yeah. You were all about the shadow thing.
I'm all about the shadows because I thought they were like they had personality.
Yeah.
That was cool. That reminded me.
Yeah.
Every time we do a shadow thing, I think of Peter Pan though, and then I think of Once Upon a Time, and it just
And we
takes me
derail
there.
again.
Every
To
time.
warm fuzzies.
Yeah. I'm like,
The shadows are my warm fuzzies.
although they are kind of dicks in that show too, but I don't know.
They're always shadows are never nice guys.
which is
They're
so
a shadow.
funny. Which is so funny and
It's the
stupid.
dark side of you.
I guess it's just a fucking shadow, which we have plenty of with our new lighting setup.
Yeah, we
Uh,
have so many shadows. anyway. You're gonna mention the Harry Potter thing since you have it highlighted?
Yeah, I wrote. Remember those Horcruxes? Oh, I can never say that word.
Horcruxes.
Horcruxes in Harry Potter. I begin to smile in spite of myself. Are you seriously dropping an HP reference right here, right now? I asked, glancing over at Des. I have your undivided attention, don't I? And all my love. And I literally highlighted the whole part, and I wrote the words, Maria's gonna hate this.
Dropped another star.
Well, and then they mentioned the Avengers too, Maria.
I haven't even watched. You know how much I don't watch Marvel. Like I've been against them forever.
Maria's anti-Marvel.
Yeah, too much of them.
Anti-Marvel, like strongly.
Not strongly. I watched Black Panther.
The other thing is this book starts.
one I like.
I'm just going through my notes right now, but this book starts.
Both of them.
Yeah, I watched both.
The book begins with them going to try to like go dig up the dad's grave and be like, where, like, go to the grave to see if he's there. And I'm like, you idiots, he was in the last book. He's not gonna fucking be there. Why are we even wasting our time?
Why are we going? Yeah.
And like, if their immediate thing was like, we need to find people who saw him get taken away, okay, but like, why are we wasting all this time to just go see if
And
he's
then we
there?
go talk to the like dude that's in there, like Taibei, whatever his name is, that king of the Banished Lands.
Yeah. That whole part was actually kind of cool.
So I highlighted it. It's pretty funny. Someone's like, bow before his eminence, Lord of the Banished, Master of the Forgotten, Protector of the Maligned, King Typhus Henbei. And I wanted to be like, is this Game of Thrones? And then Bargner saunters forward a few steps. You have titles? How charming.
Well, even with him, then there was a Princess Bride type vibe when they were doing after the pinky. Well, there are 9 other fingers to play with. If that doesn't break you, there are teeth and toes. Even those are just a taster. And the pain. It's enough to drive a fairy. It's literally to do almost anything.
Wesley.
So it was literally like to the pain. I wrote down. And I was like, oh, this is great. I love this. So that whole part I thought was really fun.
I think her like dialogue, to me, dialogue is where a lot of authors go to die because they write like unrealistic dialogue that is like painful to read, or it's unrealistic, or it makes the character sound fucking stupid, or it does not connect the characters enough.
Yeah.
They just put dialogue to put dialogue.
Yeah, I agree.
And I find that to be like there's a lot of authors that have great exposition and have fucking terrible dialogue.
I do
and to
agree
me,
with that.
Laura Thalassa kills the fucking dialogue.
They're so playful.
So how about this one? I want him to call me Great Goddess. Can you make that happen? Temper says to me. Staring at Gallagher, I say, you will refer to the sorceress from here on out as my Great Goddess of fuckery and other magical things. Understood? Would you have said that in the real world? Does that feel like real to you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Just to fuck with him? Yeah, I think she would.
I don't know if in that order.
Yeah,
I
mean, maybe
like
not those
the
exact
title
words.
itself is not like, she could have been better with the title.
Yeah, I thought that was funny though. That did make me
Oh no,
laugh.
yeah, for sure. I feel like
made
that's
me
what I would
laugh.
do to somebody, but
I think so.
not that title itself.
I do have.
I think people talk differently.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So if you're talking about dialogue itself, this dialogue, I don't know.
I think their play off each other. I think Des and Callie have the strongest like play off of each other as far as dialogue goes.
Yeah.
I think that's a really fun. The other thing that I think was missing in all of this was her connection with the real world. I know that she didn't have much of it, but like all she really had was temper and like the PI. But it would have been cool to see like glimpses of maybe like one other friend or like something.
Especially when they went back.
But I think that's what made it so
didn't
sad.
care, but I didn't care as much when they went back to Earth, and like I didn't feel like, oh, she's back home, like yay Earth. I like didn't want to go back.
See,
at
like
all.
I like that they don't want to go back to Earth though.
Yeah, but I want it like maybe then don't bring me back. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have
Then
to
don't
go.
start me off.
That whole thing was like pointless to me. Like there's just a
killed
lot.
time.
I think this could have been edited.
That's what
and
I'm saying. Book 2
brought-
and 3 could have been one book all on its own.
I liked book 2. I don't.
You know what though?
I liked book 2 better than this
I've
one.
been saying it this whole fucking year. I'm so sick of fucking trilogies.
Yes,
I
yes.
fucking
Same.
hate
Same.
trilogies.
Give me a duology.
I'm gonna put this in frame. Fuck trilogies. Give me a fucking duet. Give me a duet. Fuck a trilogy.
Say it again.
Fuck a trilogy.
She said what she said.
Fuck the
She
trilogies.
said what she said. Hey, are you writing a trilogy?
Are you writing a trilogy? Oh,
I
say,
thought
like,
one of those was supposed to be a trilogy.
Ma'am, no.
never.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one. I highlighted one note that I think summarizes up the entire series. If for whatever reason you're at the end of this podcast and you say, I could read that series and you haven't already read it and we spoiled it all.
People do it.
Some people
All
listen
right.
to us because they don't want to read the book.
This line summarizes
Thank
the
you.
entire series, and it's in the book, and it says, resurrected kings, possessed soldiers, and a body-snatching thief. That's it.
That's the book.
That's the series.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's delightful. It's a world you can escape into. I really enjoyed it. Do I wish it ended a little bit better and had maybe some things cut out?
But you like
Yes.
this series.
Yeah,
but
no, I like
overall,
this
it's the
series.
best series you've brought to me. So thank
Nice.
you. So
I
thank you.
love the Thief of Souls. I think he's one of my favorite villains.
Yes.
I love how creepy he is, and just his arrogance does get him killed, but I love that about him.
Yes.
And
I love Calypso. I love Des. I love
I love
Temper.
Temper. Malachi's fun too.
Malachi.
Malachi and Temper's little thing is fun. Like
Mm-hmm.
how she's like not committed, but he's just all about her.
I love it. It's
I
cute.
could have gotten a novella for them.
Yeah.
That would have been
I want
nice.
it. I would want to know.
So what's
them.
this other book then?
Okay, so the companion book is not for like the faint of heart either, because so basically like half of the book, the first half of the book, it goes back like 500 years.
Which I
to
thought was
when-
cool. I kind of wanted to.
his
So
do
mother?
it's all of Dez's, it's all of Dez's like
Mm.
beginnings.
His
Okay.
mom
So
is so
I know,
tortured.
yeah.
So like it's all of
So
that.
that's who Larissa is then. That's his
Mhm.
mom.
It's all of that, and then when he finds out that his mate is whatever, like that he's gonna have a mate or whatever. So then it's like all of these years and all these moments in his life and blah blah blah, and then you get from his perspective the exact like events of what happened in the first book. So when he meets her, when she kills her stepdad, it's from his perspective
wow,
of
yeah,
that
yeah.
whole like
That's
scenario.
The
And
Midnight
you get
Sun side.
his like thoughts in it, and he knows that she's his mate like
Right.
instantly, pretty much.
That's cool.
So then you kind of get like, so all of that dialogue, you know how he was kind of like, I'm not gonna do this for you, like blah blah.
Mhm.
He's like battling himself to not fucking like claim her. Like
Okay.
it's like this whole like, you know what I mean? You're kind of
Yeah.
like getting this whole like background. He's like, she's so young. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
Right.
she's human. This, that, and the other thing. And then you know how the first book flip flops each chapter back and forth. It's the same thing. So then you get pretty much like all of those.
Oh, you mean in time?
It's the same like format where it flips back and forth between her school days and then when he finally comes back to her.
That's cool.
So, but it's all from his perspective. So then like some of those moments where like, remember when like the teacher like touches her inappropriately?
Yeah.
You get the perspective of him going to torture that dude.
That's fucking
Nice.
cool.
So you get all of those like moments in between, and you get a couple of moments that like weren't portrayed in that book. Which, so if you're a really big Des fan and you really want to like, and you love
Yeah.
those companion style books, I kind of skimmed through the first half of that book.
Shocking.
Because I really don't really give a shit about his like beginnings.
Yeah.
Give me the fucking romance.
There's so many side stories I would want out of this series.
But I think the companion book is worth reading,
Yeah.
especially it's on Kindle Unlimited. So
Is it?
Is it?
short?
Because the
Or
rest
what?
of
Yeah.
it was.
I have it on.
Oh,
I have it on Kindle Unlimited. It's only 214 pages. I might read it just to
I'm not.
see. That's totally fine.
too many books for me to read right now.
No, I feel that. I feel that in my soul.
Especially,
but it's good if you like want that.
Yeah. Overall, though, fun. Thank you for sharing that with me and me not hating it. I think if I listened to it, it might have been a little bit different. Which is why I still think I didn't. Do that
I
other
did
book.
sort of both on this too. Like
Did you?
I when I had moments where I couldn't sit and read, I would do the audiobook.
How is the narrator?
She's fine.
Oh.
She does a good
I
job.
like a guy.
Yeah.
I prefer you know what I would want in audiobooks? Babe. What? Noise.
Bebe.
I would want in audiobooks where
The duel.
not just dual, but like if let's say the romance is these two, right? I'd want when she's talking and narrating for her own person, like her own point of view, it's her voice.
Yeah.
But when Des talks, I want an actor doing Dez's voice.
Yeah.
For all of the Dez's lines.
Okay,
agree with that.
so can I talk about this? I feel
Yeah.
really stupid. Audiobooks don't say like the she said, he said. Do you ever
Sometimes
notice
they don't
that?
write it.
Wait, really?
Depends on how it's written.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
They
Like,
do,
you know how,
no,
like,
they do
those-
say it. They do say it. Depends on the book. There
But
are
it
some
depends how it's
authors-
written.
There are some authors who don't add it, and so
Like
that
it's
doesn't.
just the like I didn't realize it in Haunting Adeline.
Oh.
Like he just shows up in the like they
Uh-huh.
go back and forth.
yeah,
and I was like,
it's written that way.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize it.
Oh.
Mhm.
You know
and
what I
then they'll
realized?
take out like the
Yeah.
he said it with such vigor or
Well,
whatever.
I
you know
realized
what
that
I mean?
good authors literally mostly just put he said, she said, and
Mhm.
don't add any of the like bullshit fluff. I've noticed like a lot of like really good fantasy authors, like you'll probably see it in Game of Thrones and stuff. They'll never be like she yelled or
Well, you
she exclaimed.
And I try to do this with my dialogue too. To some degree, it should just be every other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no reason why you need to like for every single piece of dialogue you need to say he said, she said, he said, she
Right.
said. You can just go back and forth
Oh,
for
for
the
sure.
most
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
And unless there's a physical movement that's
Yep,
happening
yep,
with
yep.
that dialogue, you really
I
don't
just
fucking need it.
Notice now that we're reading Mistborn and we're adding that in, I'm like, oh, he like barely ever like adds like an action to the he said or she said.
Really?
And I remember learning that at like some English class where it was like
grade school.
it was like in college where it was like
Oh.
creative writing class where they were like, the less you add to the like said part of things, the better, because it allows the reader.
Unless it needs it.
Yeah,
Unless you
unless
need to
it
say
needs-
that
for
he was
sure.
screaming. Or
yeah.
I think you need
It's
to
like the action's supposed to show it.
But
and,
I
like,
didn't realize, like, I thought about this in audiobooks, like, all of these times where it's like he growled or blah, blah, blah. It's just, they just do it.
They just do it as an act. Yeah.
Instead of, and I'm like, that's crazy that they
I never
have to
thought of
edit
that. I
the
never thought of that.
audiobooks.
Someone directs that.
Yeah, somebody has to direct
I
and
knew
produce
that,
it.
but I never thought about the idea of like actually taking.
The
Like I
good-
never like
the good
listened.
narrators would do it.
You're right.
It's so weird, though, because I
But there's
just didn't
some
think
there's
about
some
it.
books who still have the she said, he said kind
Yeah.
of thing.
But, like, it depends how it depends if
Depends
it's
on-
first or second,
depends.
or
Or
if it's first or
third.
third.
I got you.
Because if it's third, then yes.
yeah.
Interesting.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I get you. I get you.
That's fun. Fun thing to look out for next time.
But that's what I want. I want like
That was a mind fuck for me.
I want the men to do if it's already a dual personality or dual perspective. I want some narrator to do those lines so I don't have to hear the female narrator like lower her voice
I
so
hate
much and
that.
just sound weird.
some
Something
female narrators do it well. Some of
Yeah.
them don't.
Some don't.
Something else I don't understand about Kindle, and why does it tell me when other people are highlighting things?
Thank you.
I hate that.
It's
Because
like
I-
9,000 people highlight it, and I'm reading it. I'm like, why did they
Why?
highlight it? It's terrible.
I'm reading. I read the Serpent and the Wings thing, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of highlights
Yes.
in there
I
that
think
I was
highlighted
like,
one.
okay, I could have, but now I feel like, am I not cool enough if I don't highlight it?
Also, why are you highlighting it? Are you doing what we're doing? Are you just saving
people
it for
like
later?
annotate their books.
Yeah,
Oh,
people
yeah,
like
I
to annotate
forgot.
their books.
I guess that's like a
I'm
digital
doing
way.
it, annotating it.
Yeah, I
That's
guess,
annotating
yeah,
for me.
I guess it's
But
digital way.
for me, the whole thing is like, it's, what if I don't feel like that's
So,
But why are you telling me?
I always think about this because, like, sometimes I'll just accidentally click on something and
Yeah.
I'll highlight something, and I'm like, what if somebody like sees that I
Well,
fucking
I don't share
highlight
mine.
that?
Oh yeah, mine's hidden.
Mine's hidden.
That would
I don't
be
know
so
if mine
bad.
is or not.
Oh my
but, like,
God,
it's
that'd
like
be
just
bad
like
if mine
random
was.
sentence, like half
He
a
put
word.
a glass bottle up her.
No, it's
There
like
are sometimes where I just
No,
am like,
yeah.
she went to the
weirdest-
car. And it's like
When we talk about the serpent book, I'll mention it 'cause I've highlighted
Yeah.
things where I'm just like, I'm noting things like the guy Ibrahim or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I'm like, this kid's giving Neville energy,
Oh.
and I literally wrote it. This kid's giving Neville energy.
That's funny. Yeah, it's like 9,000 people highlighted this. I'm like, what am I missing? But good
I
for
did
them.
it. Did you get your cast for Serpent in the Wings? Because I got my cast ready, and I never do that.
I mean, spoiler alert, next week, get ready for Serpent in the Wings. Is this was that a popular book?
It's a popular book right now.
It's a
All
very
right, good.
popular
So if you haven't read it yet, you have time.
Is that what it's called? Serpent in the Wings of Night. Serpent in the Wings of Night. It's a
So if
long
you
ass
haven't read
title.
it, go read it. Serpent in the Wings of Night by.
Ooh.
You're not ready for that.
K.
I really threw
Starts
that
with
one
a
on
C.
you.
Starts with a C.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. I'm almost there.
I threw it on you. I shouldn't have.
serpent in the wings of
Stand by.
It's okay.
Clarissa Broadbent.
Okay.
Clarissa.
So you have a week to read that book because we're doing it next. Don't forget, read it.
Maria, don't forget to make sure it comes next.
And
So I edited differently the other day.
and if you've already read it, you'll get to see if we liked it or not.
Yay.
So join us next week on Books and Betches. If you want to, you don't have to, but I'm inviting you
If
to.
we're not your cup of tea, that's fine.
I'm inviting you to go over to our Instagram. Just look up books
Go
underscore
to the Instagram.
underscore n underscore Betches.
B-E-T-C-H-E-S.
Yes, exactly. Click the link in the link tree. Follow
Click
us.
the link.
The link tree.
Follow us on all the things.
Follow us on all of these.
Subscribe to us on YouTube.
Subscribe to us
Thank
on
you.
YouTube.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week with Serpent.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I fucking hate this.